welcome to A-List. My name is Lauren Glass, and with me today is Candi from Kiss FM. How are you?
Hi, how are you, Lauren?
I'm good. So, how did you get started in the radio business?
Well, I was in high school, kind of like you. I was in my senior year, and I had gone to Bogan High School. It was on the south side. And it was a group of us. We were piled in this car driving there, and I was half asleep in the back seat. And we had on one of our local radio stations in the neighborhood. I grew up on the south side, so we were listening to 90.5 CYC.
Okay.
Yeah, which at the time was like mixes and EDM. It was playing what everybody else wasn't. And a girl came on the radio, and she started reading a PSA. And she was laughing, and she was messing up. And even though it was a community radio station, I thought, God, that girl's horrible. She has no passion. You know, that's a serious read. How come she's doing that?
Right.
And my friends are like, you should apply for that. I'm like, nah. They're like, yeah, you should. You like, you know, talking a lot and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know. So later on, when I got home from school, I thought about it. And I called the Boys and Girls Club where the radio station was broadcasting out of. And I applied. And I went and got my license. And I started doing radio when I was 17.
Really? Wow. So, what was your favorite interview?
God, I've had a lot of them. I talked to Jennifer Lopez briefly when she had that famous green dress on at the Grammys that year.
Yeah.
I talked to her on the phone because I knew somebody who was backstage, and I passed her the phone. And it was by chance that I even saw her or anything, because I had ran across the street at the time I was working for B96, and I made a quick errand, and I glanced up at the award show that was on somebody else's TV, and I go, wow, look at that dress. And had I not been out across the street for 30 seconds before, I would have known what to talk to her about then. So that was cool. That was a good one.
That was, so what was the worst part of radio work?
Radio work, it's politics. It's politics everywhere you go. And in most jobs, you know, a lot of times it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And I'm not good at small talk. I'm not a good kiss butt kind of a person. I'm pretty straightforward. And unfortunately, if people ask me things, I tend to tell them the truth, which isn't always good later on. I have to learn to zip it sometimes.
And so what was the best part?
I love radio. It's, God, because I love music. So it's like, you don't feel like you're working. You're, you know, having fun. You're on the air, you're talking about things, and it's stuff that you would be talking about in your normal day. Like, wow, did you hear that song? Did you see that video? Oh my God, what's going on with that crazy dance? It's a lot of fun. It's all gossip, celebrity stuff. You know, it's media, but it's on a different end of media. It's the entertainment part of it.
So is there anything else you'd rather do?
I probably would rather do television. When I went to college, I studied television, and radio is what always hired me, and I just kept going, and I kind of ended up focusing on that. But if I wasn't doing radio, I'd probably be in TV or writing, which I do on the side a little bit.
What would you do in TV?
Probably be anywhere from a reporter to a correspondent, whatnot. I've worked all the red carpets. I've interviewed so many stars. I've, you know, been out to LA a lot, back and forth, working all their A-list promos out there. So it's a lot of fun.
What was the worst part of that's ever happened on air?
God, I'm horrible at sports. Horrible at sports. I'm not a sports girl. I like the White Sox, you know, and I love Chicago teams, but I don't follow stuff. And one year, nobody that I really cared about was playing in the Super Bowl, and one of my co-hosts totally knew that, and the guy was coming on after me, and he asked me, oh, so who are you going for in the Super Bowl? And I froze, and he's like, you don't even know who's playing? I'm like, sure I do. And I took a guess, and I was wrong. And it was on air, so I sounded like the complete girly girl. So I got it wrong, but now I always know who's playing. I've taught myself that.
What was the funniest?
The funniest moment? There's been times when you just work with great people, and there's times when you forget that you have to put the microphone on, and when you do, you're not ready. You're cracking up, you're still thinking about something that just happened off air. There's just so many times, it's too many to even think of.
So how is radio now compared to when you first started?
It's changed a lot. Like every business, everybody is different with their budget now. Everybody's trying to run a tighter ship. The money has definitely changed in radio, and I don't think I know anyone who would disagree with that. Before, you know, make a lot more money, the contracts were better, but it also strives off of advertising dollars, and the market has changed. There's, you know, it's stricter, so it's not as high paying as it used to be.
So how has it affected your life?
Radio? I love radio. I've been doing radio since I was 17 years old. Could I stop and do something else? Yeah, sure, maybe. And I have, you know, like everybody else, you've got bills to pay. You know, I do other things outside, freelance projects and that. but I don't know, it's a part of me.
Did you always want to be a radio DJ?
No, I don't think so. I really think it all started when I heard somebody, not being serious at a time when they should have been, when they were reading a serious message. And it just, from there, it just kind of snowballed, and I'm still in it.
What times do you go on the air?
I'm on the weekend now for KISS. So I'm on 8 a.m. Saturday morning, and then I'm on Sunday night at 7 p.m.
So what is your main responsibility of being on air?
Well, you do everything. You are flying the plane, basically. You're making sure that all your music is segued. You want to make sure everything's tight. You don't want any dead air. You want to talk up to the post. You want to make sure you know everything that's going on with all your artists that you're playing. You want to know local news. You want to know sports, too. You've got to just have a good well-rounding about everything. You have to know a little bit about everything.
Can you give us an example of your day?
Yeah, let's see. I always have to get coffee, so I usually go to like Dunkin' Donuts. I go to work. I look at my log ahead of time and see everything I'm playing. I'm like, all right, I know I'm playing Rihanna. I know I'll be playing Britney Spears. I'm thinking of things right now. Calvin Harris. We just had our huge Fantabuloso concert. It was awesome. So I try to see what's going on with them. Is somebody on tour? Does somebody have a new CD coming out? Who's on the Billboard charts? Who's making an appearance? Who's going to be in concert? Try to stay on it. So it's not just time and temp, which is a radio term, saying, oh, you just go on and do an introduction. You have to know what's going on to keep your audience enticed to keep wanting to listen.
Is a radio a cutthroat business?
It is a cutthroat business, yeah. Everybody wants your job. You know that the interns there want to be on air. The secretary's friend wants to be on air. The DJs want to be on air. Everyone does, and it's hard. And, it's very competitive, and sometimes great staff is on, and sometimes it's about luck. So it depends.
Was there any time when you wanted to change your career, while you were in the radio business?
Yeah, I've been doing it for so many years, and just like any job or anything you do, at some point you think, okay, I need to reinvent myself. I need a change. What's missing here? But radio is, it's not just talking. You're doing commercials. You're writing spots for your commercials. You're doing production, you're making appearances, you're doing live broadcasts, you're blogging, social media, you're constantly tweeting. It's changed so much over the course of time that luckily it keeps reinventing itself, so it keeps you involved.
Do you pick your own music?
No, nobody does, and if they say they do, they're lying to you. I'm sorry to say that. Back in the day, yeah, they had a lot of specialty shows. I know when I was at a different station, we did that. We would break all the new club tracks, all the new mixers. We had more of the club scene going on at that point, and we were able to do that. But now, just programming is so tight in radio, and you only have so much time that they would rather play a hit song that, even though you may have heard it an hour ago, they already know it's a hit song. It's a win-win versus giving a new artist a chance just because it hasn't been broken into. Nobody wants to be the guinea pig for that. So I would say 99% of the stations, especially the big markets, yeah, they've got a strict format. Maybe the smaller markets, they still have some freedom, but not too much with the big markets.
What celebrities have you met?
God, I've met so many. I've met Mariah, I've met Eminem, I've met Britney, I just met Calvin Harris 2 days ago. The list goes on and on.
Which one was your favorite?
West. Ooh, you know what? Brandy, who you don't hear a lot about anymore, she was so down to earth. Neil, awesome guy. Sean Paul, totally cool. Pink, I love Pink. I hung out with her outside of a work function. Great person.
What was your favorite event that you've ever done?
I love hosting our concerts in the summers. Now I'm, with KISS FM, and we just had our Fantabuloso, which is awesome. When I was at B96, we had these enormous B-bashes and, Ricky Martin, Jay-Z, huge headline people. I think anytime I've been out doing concerts for any of the stations I've worked for, that's always been my favorite, because you get to meet hundreds and thousands of your listeners, and you're kind of hanging out with them all, partying with them all, having fun.
Who do you like working with
right now?
With the most, yeah.
God, everyone. I've got a great team. I'm really lucky. Even not just the jocks on air, but there's such a great support team behind the scenes. I've got a great friend in the web department. I see everybody on the weekend more. I like them all, to be honest with you.
Is there any advice you like to give the viewers about wanting to become a radio host?
Yeah, it's like any job. It's hard. You have to stick to it, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. And I'm not saying run around and kiss butt, but it does help to be friendly and network. Networking is key. And internships, you and I were talking off camera earlier. That's the key to get in, to meet people, to start building relationships. Okay, you're interning, so you're probably not getting paid, but you're getting your foot in the door. It's a good way to go.
All right, well, that's all that I have to ask you. Thank you for coming. My name is Lauren Glasser, and thank you for watching the A-List.
Thank you.